Hello, how y'all doing? We're so glad we're so glad to be with you again. I have my brother Kamal with me here, and I
And
have a new segment started, Man Cave Talk. Men talking,
right,
men talking,
right on.
because in today's world, I don't see many men out there being real men. I see them being boys. I see them being players. I see them being not authentic in their actions and movements. Today we're going to just a tongue twister. We're going to talk pay now or play later, or play now and pay later. And what this is talking about, this talking about us then is paying dues while we have time. It's almost like a football player. If they
Yeah,
don't practice during the week,
indeed,
they're
indeed.
not gonna be any good in the game.
Right.
So we must practice how to be productive
Yeah.
men in our
Yep.
lives.
Mentally and physically. I would say first and foremost, man, I appreciate you invite me on the platform. It's an absolute honor and a pleasure to be here. And brother, I see your grind. So with the title of the show is so poignant. It says everything without even us really going into detail. We got to put in the work. Whatever it is that we aspire in life to get, to obtain, you got to put in the work. Because after all, if you do nothing, you get nothing. All right. So when my brother reached out to me and said, "Hey man, let's just talk. It's about preparation for the future. Pay now so you can play later," which ideally is the best way, or you can play now and definitely pay later in addition to pray later. You know what I'm saying?
Yes, yes,
So for me, bruh, again, thanks for inviting me. And let me say this: I know you a beast with the editing and all of that kind of stuff, but being that I'm talking to my brother, sometimes that tongue may get loose. So let me say,
yeah,
listener discretion is advised to everybody out there.
yes, yes,
Because
yes,
again, I just love conversing. So I'll say this, man. I didn't want to over prepare, just some certain
yes.
touch. But the thing is, when it flows, I think we receive it better. I think everybody else will receive it better as well. But man, good to see you as always.
Man, good. See you too,
And
man.
and if I may say to the listening audience, yo, if y'all know Travis, he's that kind of dude. And yo, this is your butter up moment. He is the kind of guy that will always prepare well ahead of time, and always messing with stuff. So the analogy, y'all, I can give is kind of like if we had to learn some video editing software, and let's say it's a
Yeah.
group of us there, yo, the majority of us are gonna be trying to play and figure it out and ask all these questions. Yo, Travis is doing it. He's figuring things out on his own. And he's always been that guy for as long as I've known him. And salute to you, my brother. Keep doing that. And not only that, keep inspiring the rest of us to do this kind of stuff. Because what happens is we always think that we're doing this for the youth. It's for the youth. It's for the young. And
It's for everybody. It's for
it's
everybody.
everybody, man. Because I totally disagree with pretty much the narrative. Is it's about the future, which it is, and it's about the babies. But look, a lot of us still have a lot of growing to do. And what happens is when we get in our late 30s, our 40s, our 50s, and beyond, we think we got it all and we don't have to put in as much work. Yo, we got to continue to put in the work. So we all can be blessed as a result because I would say the reason that a lot of us older folks talk a lot is because we've experienced a lot of adversities. And we try to share those things. And, being young or younger, Sometimes you don't want to hear that. You want to experience your own stuff. So you got something that you can emotionally attach to versus somebody always telling you a story. But those stories make us who we are. The pain makes us who we are in terms of growing. So again, if you play, you may pay, and vice versa. If you do it the right way. But back to you, my brother. It's just
Yeah,
great,
yeah,
great.
yeah. It's almost like if you don't put mine in the bank account, you can't get it. You can't get nothing out.
Yeah, man.
If
Yeah,
you don't put anything in your checking account, savings account, when you go to the bank and get some out, there's nothing there for you to obtain.
yeah, yeah,
So we must prepare, old, young, senior. We must prepare for the future.
yeah, man. And
Like you said, the future not only for the young, it's for everybody.
yeah, and not just think, not just when it comes to finance and wealth, also our health, our knowledge of self, and any goals or aspirations that we're trying to do. It takes steps to get there. There are no leaps and bounds. It's just like if anybody's familiar with football, you got to get first downs to get that touchdown. You can't throw for the bomb all the time. And every now and then you will be successful, but for the most part, inch by inch, yard by yard, if we get down that field, we can accomplish our goal eventually. We'll come up short and we may have to get a field goal and, come back and work it and make it better the next time. But regardless, we got to move. We got to invest. We got to put in that time. And of course, the human factor to all of this is it's not fun. For the most part, it's going to be boring. For the most part, it's going to take some thought, some discipline, and unfortunately, work. And look, after us going to work or however we make our money, the last thing you want to do is come home and do more work. However, the rewards are great if we do that, as opposed to looking back 10, 5, 10, 15, 20 years, and it's like, yo, I should have blah, blah, blah. I should have done this. If only I would have put $10 away a month, you know, $50 a month, whatever portion. It's amazed. You'll be amazed by how those things grow, and I can say that through regrets or in
Mm-hmm.
or in addition to some of the good things, some things, just like I changed my eating habits when I was a younger cat, and now I really appreciate, I'm not where I want to be, but I'm really glad that I made the decisions that I did make at that time. Considering all the additives that are in food, all the things that we are misled thinking that they are nutritious and they aren't, the effects that they have on the body, the mental, in addition to the physical. We think it's mostly just the physical where we put on a few pounds, but the mental when it comes to the eating and drinking as well. In addition to the resources that are around us now that we're using the internet more with radio frequencies, our cell phones are on us most of the time. And please, y'all, when you go to sleep at night, try to keep that thing away from you. Try to keep some of those rays away from the body. But again, back to you, my brother. Like I say, I
Yeah,
can, I just
yeah,
love when
yeah.
it flows, man. I love when we can get together and just talk. But man, and kudos to you on the topics that you have picked thus far for folks to talk about. It's always just something good to grow with.
And in today's world, they're making it easy for us. We can, we can call the grocery store and have them get the stuff for us.
Yeah.
When back in the day, with us walking around the grocery store,
Uh,
they gave us exercise.
yo, just
One say, and also this DoorDash and
yeah, man.
things like that. It's making it easy for us not to cook.
everything has been simplified for us. Just think, you don't have to change the channel on your TV anymore. We have dishwashers, we have lawn services, we have people that'll wash your car. So that restricts all the physicality that we used to be required to do. And just think, if you go back to generations, or a generation or two before us, where they had to warm up their own water. You know what I'm saying? In some instances, they had to go out and get whatever they needed to get just to eat. So, now the beauty of preservatives in the food, it's made it very convenient. Travis, just like you're saying, you can just DoorDash it, and next thing you know, it's at your house. So you don't even have to leave. Everything is there. But let's say this also in regards to preparation. You can see what took place, unfortunately, with the pandemic just within the last year and a half. So let's all make certain that we do pay now, meaning attention and stocking some food and other things, so we can be prepared later. So we don't have to pray later. We can pay now. I mean, you always want to stay prayed up, but still, let's make certain that we prepare now so we don't regret it later on, not just for us, but for our families and our significant others. Mm.
And also, while you're paying, you can develop a game plan to win because the Giants, the Titans, um, Miami, the Colts, they have a game plan. And if the team follow that game plan, they just might win the game. It's when somebody steals from the game plan, when somebody's not at the spot where they're supposed to be to catch the ball. That's when they that's when they don't make that first down.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. In addition to having a plan B and maybe a plan C. If you've seen some games, sometimes there's a team and they can't do nothing that first half. Everything that they try is not working. Every play gets muffed. Cats getting kicked around, they're getting their head handed to them. However, at halftime, they're able to make some adjustments. That plan B, that plan C, and of course, look, we're all human and we don't like the change. I'll be the first cat to tell you. And salute to you, Travis, man. I'll give it to you, man. You're a resilient dude that's open to trying other things. I'm one of those dudes where I just like, you like what you like it to be in that path, but I have to be willing to adapt and do other things. And I think a lot of people fall in the same thing that I do. But we have to be willing to have that plan B, have that plan C, and just try to think ahead of time. Just like if you know it's a dead end street, I mean, the sign is there well before you get there, as opposed to you getting up on it. You know what I'm saying? And that's what happens in our lives sometimes too. We spin till it's not there anymore, or we eat until now we have issues with our kidneys, blood pressure, you know, and then we get stress as a result. We get depressed as a result of the things that we've dug holes for ourselves, but now we are depressed as a result. But just think sometimes, or how often can you say, I'm sure glad I did blah, blah, blah. I don't know what I would have done if I didn't do blah, blah, blah. Where we had the forethought, or just thinking ahead of time where it just worked out nicely. Or how many times have you left a place and something happened after you left? So planning and timing is everything.
And I know that this is a subject that we want to go with. We don't want to go there, but if us men actually thought about the women that we were with, if we had a thought before, we would not be in the same. We would not be in trouble. We would not gotten pregnant. We would not have to deal with a child. We
Yes,
would not. We would not have to deal with a woman who is mad and upset at us
yes, sir.
because when we lay and have sex with somebody, there's a possibility you have a child.
Yes,
And
sir.
that child didn't ask, and that child did not ask to come into the world. So it's our job to take care of the child. But some of us men, we actually abandon the child and the mother
Yeah.
when it was us who made the decision to lie down with her.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And again with your title. So in that sense, it's play now, pay later, and we see that all too often. And if I may, also we need to understand that sometimes other folks think for us where we don't have to do the thinking. So, and let me say this, I just remember as a kid always seeing all the cereals, and they were telling you that they were full of nutrients and these essential vitamins and irons. And truly, when you break it down, all that stuff was sugar. So it's and you grow up thinking that this stuff is good for you when it wasn't. And the reason I'm saying all this is someone else was doing the thinking and they were planning ahead, and all we did was follow that path. So, Travis, with what you're saying too, when it comes to us as men, especially us black men, I think we need to understand someone else has already carved out a narrative. Are we going to continue to follow that narrative, or are we going to pay and put in the work for ourselves? Chances are, when you turn on the news at 6 o'clock, 10 o'clock, 11 o'clock, whatever time you want to pick it up, we start off with negativity, and unfortunately, that negativity looks like me. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
As a result of that, the masses feed into I am a negative. I am not an asset. I'm more of a liability, and I continue to be a liability. When you listen to radio in the mornings, it's called programming for a reason. All right, television and radio. Chances are we're talking about bad relationships. We're talking about something that isn't right, as opposed to good food. Right, food for the thought, something that's going to get your day going well. We don't need to hear about gossip. We need to hear about something that's going to uplift you and maybe inspire the people that we go work around. But again, these narratives, they're paying now. So they're putting in the work where they're taking our brain waves away from us. You know what I'm saying? And I think for us, especially black men, we got to be bigger than that. We talk about pimping too much. We talk about partying too much. We talk about all those things, again, understand this is what's all around you. When you look at videos, when you listen to all the stuff that you hear on the radio, and my goodness, now in television we've went from the slave narrative to everybody is a hustler. Everybody's on the come up. Everyone has to do it by illegal means. I got to do some old gangster stuff. I'm reformed coming out of prison. I got to do all this. Never mind. And look, we don't need any Huxtables, but it would be nice to see some attorneys that could inspire you. Let's see somebody like Rock. If anyone remembers the television show Rock, here it is. This dude was a what was it?
Garbage collector. Garbage collector.
Yeah, a garbage collector. But my man had value, and that's what we need. And ironically, it was on Fox at that time. So look how things get flipped. They flip the script on us. But anyway, look how this cat may not have had all the money in the world, but he had some values, and he loved his woman. He took care of his brother. He took care of his father. He supported everybody and did his thing. But look how that gets ripped off the air. We don't have those kind of shows. We got the shows where you're going to take away my masculinity, or you're going to make me a joke. Let me be that person to inspire. And that's why I say sometimes we have to wake up. And just as you're saying, we have to take the accountability. So with some of these people, it's some of the men in particular that look like me. Yes, we need to be put in time out. There's some things that we need to work out, but you also have to understand we're being programmed. If every time, I don't know what in the world would make somebody want to make a song about selling drugs to their own people just to make money. And not only make that song, but that song gets played, and that song gets played a lot in so many different ways. That same narrative continues to come out on radio and on television. But if I talk about some upliftment, ain't trying to hear it. Or I'm told those ratings won't be good enough, which I totally disagree with. So hopefully, y'all, we can be smart enough to pay now, where um, understanding that a good life is a boring life.
Mm.
If if
Yeah.
if
Say,
you
say it again. Say it again. Say
a,
it again.
a
Say
good
it again.
a good life is a boring life. So let me tell y'all this. I got 35 years with the same woman, and that's a beautiful thing. I would do it all over again. But you know what? There ain't a whole bunch of drama. There ain't a whole bunch of nonsense. Do we have our differences? Hell yeah, absolutely. But the bottom line is we respect one another, regardless of our differences. We were raised totally different. In turn, we raised our children totally different. However, at the end of the day, we respected one another. And if you got that working in your life, everything else will fall in place. My mother-in-law told me the best advice when we first got together. She said, just be friends. All the other,
Mm.
everything else will take care of itself. Sex, bills, responsibilities, just be friends. Meaning you'll be able to communicate. You'll be able to respect one another on your views, even though it may not be how you perceive or want to get down. We still got to respect each other. And I have to say the same with us as men, us as a people, us as humans. We got to be able to respect one another. And I think, without getting too far outside the box, bro, I think a lot of people just take us for granted, being that we're not in control economically. They try to control our character. They try to control our emotions, who we are, and what we're about. Even though, when you look at creative content, when you look at all the contributions to this country and the world, it is normally coming back to us. All the juice and all the beautiful things that's been created on this planet. Now, other folks have contributed as well, but my point is, for some reason, ours are not spoken of. Everybody wants to take it and then they'll put a bow on it and make it their own, but we never go back and pay homage to those people that paid so they can play.
Mm.
So, but hey, again, bruh, I can't say it enough, man, for you invite me on here and us just talking, because there's so many issues that we have to put in the work. We do have to pay. Now we got to play along the way too, because we can't get
Yeah.
serious. Man, it look, with
It
all
get boring.
all the challenges that we have dealt with in our lives, all of us are PTSD and we don't realize it. And unfortunately, we have paid and we don't get to play as well. So we've paid in terms of being American. And again, without getting too deep, bro, we have not been able to play as American. But we got to keep pushing. We have no choice. Nobody cares, and we need to handle our business. And we can't blame anyone but ourselves. No matter how much the deck is stacked, how much we see the same narrative every 4 years, or folks want to visit our communities certain times or whatever, or do something once. It's incumbent upon us to continue to pay. So not only us, but the lineage that falls behind us can play.
Mm.
We gotta continue to put in the work, because what happens when we don't is we get sidetracked and we think we've made it, when they will show you images of certain celebrities and make you think that everybody's made it, and all they're doing is putting you to sleep. And then then we start losing ground as opposed to holding or gaining ground, you know. But yeah, we got to continue to pay, man. And I'll be the first to tell you, it's not fun. it's, it's,
No, it's not.
It ain't
It,
fun,
it's hard work.
man. When
It's hard work, man.
you done,
Yeah, because you know what, that slave mentality is still around today. Because back when we were slaves, if there was a big strong man and he was married to this woman, they would separate him.
absolutely.
They would move the they would move the male to one plantation
Oh man, the whole
and they move the woman to another plantation.
yes, yes, the whole
And and when I say, and I think about welfare, back in the day, welfare, if there was a man in the house, you couldn't get nothing from the government.
yes, yes, and look at the same mentality. Unfortunately, things are pretty much the same way. So now the narrative is this, though. And no disrespect to my sisters at all. There will be a lot of sisters out here that they show on TV that is strong and independent and doing it. And the dude is a joke. The dude is not one that's going to inspire her. They're always having problems. They're always having, you know, issues as opposed to them working so solid and together and strong together. Be it a movie, be it a program. I question or I quiz anyone and tell me you got infinity after this goes off. Name me 5 shows where there was no laugh track and there was a black lead character. So, in other words, someone that has been taken seriously and they are of inspiration as opposed to being some old crooked side piece or something like that. I just challenge you of all your years, the entire listening audience, your since television began or since you came on this planet, please tell me 5 black shows, 5 where there's been no laugh track. So that means it's kind of like a drama. And please, yeah, kill the ones where no sitcoms at all. No sitcoms at all. Just something where it can show somebody like me built to inspire the world, not just my own people, inspire the world. And in turn, now you can name probably 200 where it shows I'm the joke. You know what I'm saying? So again, we just have work to put in, and it's nice. And again, I can get wordy with this stuff, but at the end of the day, we have to pay so we can play later. Think about all the cool cats in high school, all the cool ones that was funny to be around, all the jokesters and all them kind of cats. They were fun. They'll keep you laughing, all that kind of stuff. But we playing now. But fast forward years later, they're paying for it. Well, and let me just say my experience. What I saw was a lot of cats, they may be playing then, but you fast forward later in life and now you paying. You get into your 40s and 50s and now you're figuring the world out. As opposed to the geeks back then, yo, that dorky dude, the uncool dude, the worker, unfortunately, because it was a necessity within the family, dude, they was paying then because again, they remember what it was like for the lights to be out, for it to be cold in the house, for there to be nothing in the refrigerator. They were paying then, and some of them dudes are playing now. Lamborghinis and sports cars, seeing the world and you know, the money, the security, the other things. So it's just funny how life works sometimes and you gotta put in the work if you want the rewards.
And you know what God designed it. God made the man first, then the woman. So, so I say when us men get right and take our place of authority,
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
this world will become a much better place. We
Quick.
will we will have less children being abandoned. We will
Yeah.
have less molestations. We
Yeah.
will have less we will have less homelessness,
Yeah.
less people being hungry. If us men take our rightful place
Mm-hmm.
in this world, we would change the landscape of this country and this world.
So fast, so fast. And I think with all of us, all we have to do is take accountability, take responsibility for our lives, not anyone else's. We don't need or it helps, but we should not be looking upon any black leader to do anything that we can't do ourselves. So just imagine if we could support one another. We don't need a face in front of it, as opposed to running to malls to hang out. And there's nothing wrong with that, all right? But look at the money that goes into other communities as opposed to our own community. Look at all the money when it comes to clothing, food, even alcohol, unfortunately, that leaves our community but stays in others. And I just think, without being too preachy, that's just a piece of the accountability. So just saying, you know what, as opposed to me going out and buying 20 toys for my children, why don't I buy 10 and invest the rest for their future? You imagine how much they would have if you started before they were born, or even if they were 5 or 6. Imagine if you put some of that money into a money market, you know, Bitcoin, whatever it is, cryptocurrency. I'm sorry, but if imagine you put it into any of those things and just allow it to grow, if they were three, in addition to paying with their knowledge, where they're learning the process. So just think, by the time they got out of high school, they don't need college. All right. If they understand how money works, you don't need college to get somebody's job. You are running your own thing. The whole idea is survival here. The whole idea is us learning how to do for ourselves. And that's where we're stuck, kind of. All right. So again, other people have paid, and unfortunately, we're following their role, and it's not benefiting us yet. We're starting to wake up, though. That's the beautiful thing. So kudos, younger generation, and please, those of us that are older, don't talk about the younger generation. Generations before us said the same thing about us. So either we can criticize them and continue this divide, or we can unite. We can pick them up, and in turn, they'll pick us up as well, as opposed to talking to them about their pants down and the way they dress. All right. We make the money and we can support ourselves. You can walk around naked if you want to, as long as we're supporting ourselves and we're doing for ourselves. So we don't have to ask permission from anyone else. And that's when we gain the respect that we need amongst ourselves, as well as, other people. But again, as you always say, man, we got to put in the work. We got to pay for it. Yeah.
And I find out the majority is not always right. The majority is not always right. Sometimes take the road less traveled. Sometimes take the narrow road. Take
Talk
the road take the road that nobody else takes.
talk that talk.
And if you take that road, you'll learn so much, you'll gain so much from traveling that road.
Yes.
It may propel you to greatness.
Oh man, man. And you know what though? I think as seasoned men, sometimes you learn it the hard way. So, and if I can share, when I was younger, I wanted the car. Everybody wants the car. Everybody wants all the fancy stuff to gain the acceptance. But now that I got a little age on me, the crazy part is this: once you're in a position where you can get some of those things, you don't want to flaunt it no more. You want to protect it. So it's kind of like, yo, I get it. When if you're younger, if you're in your 20s and 30s, and some folks, look, it hits everybody differently. Light hits everybody differently. All right. For me, if I'm coming across millions now, I'm not trying to flaunt it. I'm trying to protect it for the people, for those links in the chain that are to follow me, as well as those people around me. I'm trying to protect that, as opposed to, hey, y'all, I want to flash this cash. Come on over and rob me. Or when you see me on the street, I'm paid. So Yo, come knock me over the head and do it, But look, we all operate differently. And I will just say some things you grow out of as you get older. So there's nothing wrong with these young cats making that money and showing it as a reward. Why not feel good about what you do? However, just make certain when you can flaunt that money, long term, I think the ladies or your significant other will be more impressed with property deeds than they will with a car with some rims on it and some knock up in that joint. Because that's real temporary right there. And normally after 6 to 9 months of them payments, you don't even see the ride no more, no matter what it is.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, yeah,
Cause nothing. I'm talking about Red Fox and Sam Davis Jr. They died in bankruptcy. All that money, but they died in old.
yeah, yeah,
I think about that.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Think
Hey,
I think I think about Red Fox,
man, one of my
Sanford and Son,
heroes. And
a comedian.
the beautiful thing is this. So this cat paved the way for a lot of other comedians. So if you want to talk about your Richard Pryor's and your Eddie Murphys, Red Fox is the foundation of that. But not only was he the funny guy, he looked out for so many other comedians launching their career. He looked out for people behind the scenes. And that's a beautiful thing. And the only part that I hate is the cat went out penniless as opposed to having that empire, because this dude was making big money and he shared it now. That's the thing. This dude
Yeah,
shared it with his people. I just hate to see it go down the way it did, but we need to understand also, look, we're targets. When we do that kind of stuff, when we're fighting for hours, there's going to be some backlash. They didn't have to do that cat like that. Yo, they swooped in on this dude when he had tax issues and literally was taking it off of his fingers, out from around his neck, off of his person. We're taking stuff. That's totally unnecessary. And you mean to tell me those are the only two cats that owe taxes? Come on now. So we know, again, if we're talking about paying so we can play later, you got to know the rules to the game. I got to know that Travis is going to get treated better than me. He's going to get a little bit of preferential treatment just because he got a better connection with the folks than what I do. Is it foul? Is it unfair? Absolutely. But once we understand that life ain't fair, once we share that with our children, life ain't fair and you better figure it out, then we can move accordingly. We can't always stop at this ain't fair and how come you're not treating us like blah, blah, blah. We ain't got time for that. We got to get our goal. We have to set a goal and we have to get there. Or we got to at least get the wheels in motion or create a path where we can get there. Because if we keep knocking at the door saying, yo, this ain't fair, we're going to keep spinning our wheels.
yeah, and that's where that game thing comes in.
Indeed.
That's where that game thing comes in because if you're on because if you're on a team that runs the ball all the time, you want to have a defense that can start the run
Yes, sir.
and make them throw.
Yes, sir.
If you face a team that pass all the time, you want to start the pass.
Yeah. Yeah.
So what I'm saying, we gotta know what our enemy is gonna do to us.
And expect the adversities along the way. Expect the injuries. So if we talking sports, expect the injuries. As a matter of fact, here it is in game 1 of the World Series with the Braves and the Astros. Ace pitcher breaks his leg in the first game. So, how are the Braves going to rebound from that? You have no choice but to move forward. So goes the same with us. Expect adversities. You know what? If the road is easy, just as my man said, I don't want it. I don't want it. I don't want nothing that's free. Anytime And let me just share. I told my children the whole time they were growing up, the only thing free in life is trouble. Ain't nobody coming to your door knocking on it. Yo, here's 100 grand. Or here, you don't have to work for the rest of your life. Something's gonna be tied to that. If somebody's giving you something, it's beautiful when people can give from within the spirit. But unfortunately, with us being human, you may want to ask yourselves, what's the hook? What's the catch? Why are they sending me this check in the mail? What does this mean? If I cash this check, what does this do? Or somebody coming with a scam. Hey, I just need for you to put this check in your account and it's 20 grand. You can hold on to 3 grand and just give me the rest. You know, Sometimes when it's too easy, it is too easy. So some of us, and let me say this, some of us have paid by the experiences that we have encountered along
Yes,
we
yes,
with experience and time and pain. But as time moves on, now we're able to play because you can sniff it out when it comes. You can
yes,
hey, this dude's talking too much, or she claims that she has too much and I ain't seen nothing. So that's where time or age is a beautiful thing.
yeah. And you know what? It's almost like if somebody's given a car in high school, they will not appreciate it. But if they have to work for half of the payment, they they'll say, I had to work for this car, so I'm gonna change the oil, I'm gonna get a tune up, I'm gonna check the tires,
Yes.
I'm gonna make sure it's running properly. So when we have to work for something, we will we will appreciate it more.
And safeguard it. You're gonna protect it when you had to work for it, and you had to get it. You had to put a whole bunch of thought into it. You had to put a lot of sweat equity into it. You may even have had to fight for it. But when you earn it that way, that's just think of your integrity. Just think of your character. Just think of the material goods that you have obtained. Those things mean so much to you when you done put in that work to get it, as opposed to somebody giving it to you. It means nothing, and you don't really appreciate the value, nor do you understand its potential when it's given to you. It's kind of like, I remember with Travis and I, we had a class together, and this dude was talking about some video editing. And it sounded good, but man, he was so far over my head, I really couldn't appreciate what he was coming with. And it's one of those things where the light hadn't hit me yet. The light hit you, and it done hit him, because of course he was the one that was telling us about it. But it's amazing how, some when it's not your time, it's not your time. You got to receive it when you're ready. Now that I've put in the work, I can understand, oh my God, this editing is ridiculous. This is a beast. This stuff, it takes a lot of work, knowledge, understanding, creativity. And how can I put all of that stuff together? And that's life. Life is built brick by brick. Ain't nobody bringing you a whole wall and saying, yo, here you go, do your thing. And not only that, we still won't appreciate it unless we went out there every day and put in that grind for it. Yeah, you can get somebody to hook you up every now and then, but uh, you know, I don't think nobody's going to respect us too much if we're always looking for the hookup, or we're always taking to and not giving. So sometimes you got to pay. You got to pay to get it back later on, and I think it's much more better with who you are, knowing that you're not at somebody else's mercy, begging them, or hey man, I know I did this, but can you do this for me? Can you do that? No, let's do it ourselves. Let's do it ourselves.
Because folks get tired they get sick and tired coming to them saying, I need this, I need that.
Yes, sir.
You'll call them and they'll see your number and they won't answer. They'll block you.
Yo, hey, and look, man, I know our time is almost up. And again, I thank you, bro. It's always great to connect with you. But in closing, I would like to say this, man, on life. Most people, either you're an asset or a liability. And that's like if I call you on the phone, the first thing you're gonna do is look at your phone and go, two things. Either you're gonna go, or you're gonna be like, hey, let me reach out to this cat. You know? And that's telling you subliminally, that's telling you how you feel about that person. Be it family, be it friends, be it a new relationship. When you pick up that phone and it makes you feel good inside, that's telling you what kind of relationship you've got with that person. Be it a sibling, parent, whoever. But if you pick it up and this, or if you look at it and it's like, that's telling you what you got. So these signs are all around us. Are we paying attention? Because again, you gonna pay now or you gonna pay later, and that's with relationships. That's with preparation. That's with your job. That's with your health. That's with your wealth. That's with your knowledge of self. It's everything, bro. But again, that's it for me, my dude. But thank you, man.
Thank you, man.
Yo, and I know you're gonna tell them about the website, man.
Yeah. I got my sponsors first though.
Oh, no doubt.
My the mission of the mission of enrichment is to support and to encourage the participation of people who are blind and visually impaired into a spiritual community where each individual is encouraged to utilize all their God granted gifts and talents as they journey to a place of wholeness in body, spirit, and mind. And and the email address is ivawakening at gmail.com. The phone number is 678-718-7063. My second sponsor is SimTech. We provide titles for cars, tractors, houses, motorcycles in any state. And my third sponsor, and it's the last one, it supports Director Image Con Group. So search social content local. Their website is www.imagecongroup.com. And the phone number is you got 678-687-9542 or 470-238-9152. Now, if you want to say, now if you want to hear this, bro, you want to hear this, see this again, it's pretty easy. You can go to the one stop shop. You go to the one stop shop. I can go to the one stop shop, the website. It has blogs, it has the podcast videos, all that on there. But if you want to hear the podcast, you can go to www.podpage.com /DONT dash GIV dash UP dash HOR. All the podcasts off on website too. And it's on Google Podcasts, Castbox, Spotify, and Apple Podcasts. And the website again is www.don'tgiveupmovement.net. So, so I want to thank my brother Kamal
Indeed.
for actually helping me out today.
Brother, pleasure is all mine.
To always remember, remember, you can pay now or play later. You can play now or pay later. And this is the first installment of Man Cave Talk. The first installment of it. And this show is meant to uplift men and to help us take our rightful place in this world.
And sisters still be inspired with that as well. All right. Because I think we get further working together. Did I lose you there?
Yeah, you
Yeah.
can. Yeah.
Yeah, I think again, teamwork makes the dream work. So it's a beautiful thing when we can get together and make something happen. And in the closing, again, my brother, man, love you to the fullest. And anyone that really doesn't know this guy puts in work. He's genuine with what he does, and everybody says that. All right, but all I can do is just tell you from my experiences, in addition to the work that he puts in. He's the kind of guy that's going to show up hours early, deal with nonsense, and yo, he might get heavy, do some heavy breathing, but he's gonna deal with whatever the adversities are, and he still may be one of the last persons to leave. And Travis, just much respect, continued success on everything that you putting in. But man, I just love you and respect you for who you are. Please continue to fight the good fight. And again, thank you for the invite, bro.
Thank you so much. And don't give up. And don't give up on your dreams, hopes, and visions. You may be the one to change the landscape of this world. I don't care if it's just something small you do. That small thing you do may change. That small thing can move mountains. That small thing you can do. That small thing you do can move waters. Have a great day and great night, and thank you so much.